Hello and welcome to Legal Shield's national webinar for professional sellers. My name is Brandon Clark. I am the Senior Director of Sales and Communications for Legal Shield's Business Solutions Division. I have the distinct honor of introducing our host and speaker for today, Mr. Mike Riches out of Dallas, Texas. Mike is our VP of Business Solutions Training and has been with Legal Shield for almost 2 decades. Over the course of time, Mike has served in various leadership capacities. He's experienced tremendous personal success in marketing our products as voluntary benefits to companies far and wide, and has now trained literally thousands of our associates to succeed in this space. So without any further ado, Mike, please take it away.
Well, thank you very much, and happy Friday to everyone out there. Thank you for taking the time out of your schedule to join our webinar here today. And I just want you to know I'm really excited to share this information with you about our company Legal Shield and really about this very unique opportunity that we've got right now for those with a professional background. And as you can see, that's going to be our agenda here. We'll talk about our company and who we are, and then I'm going to share with you some information on our unique suite of products. And really, our products have always been at the heart of who we are as a company. So I want to take just a few minutes and discuss the need for those products in today's marketplace. And I'll explain all the details, and of course, we'll talk about next steps should we choose to move forward. As far as our company goes, we've been in business now since 1972, and I'll tell you, it's not often that you're going to find a company that's been around for almost 50 years and yet still presents such a ground floor opportunity, and that's exactly what we have here at Legal Shield. The vast majority of Americans, they're not familiar with our company, but they're not even familiar with the concept of a legal plan, and that just leaves the window of opportunity wide open for you and me. Our annual revenue right now is over $400 million a year. Legal Shield is really the pioneer of legal service plans in North America. We were the first company to really do anything of this nature. And today we protect over 4 million lives across the United States and Canada. Much of that business comes from our Business Solutions Division, which is a dedicated division of Legal Shield that serves over 30,000 employer groups. And as you can see, there are over 48,000 small businesses. Now, I want to take you back to 2003. That was the year that we decided to introduce identity theft protection as a product that we are going to offer. Our focus up to that point had been on our flagship product, our legal plan, but back in 2003, we saw the identity theft protection industry as a massive opportunity. Now, I'm not sure that any of us knew back then just how big this crime was going to be. Let me just share with you a few of the facts and figures on this crime. Identity theft is the largest crime in America. According to Javelin Research, there are over 14 million victims of identity theft every year. This is in the U.S. alone. So if you take that 14 million and you divide it by 365 days, that's over 38,000 people every day that are victimized by this crime. Javelin also found that social media users are 46% more likely to become victims of identity theft. So anyone that's on Facebook or Instagram or even LinkedIn, they need to be aware of that. And then this third bullet point is a big one. The Identity Theft Resource Center said that 1.3 million children's records are stolen each year. Parents don't often think about their children being a target for identity thieves, but millions of children have already become victims. And in a lot of these cases, these criminals are able to use these kids' identities for years before anyone ever finds out, which obviously can be an absolute disaster for the families who are affected. And of course, this final bullet point, there have been over 8.4 billion records compromised in data breaches just since 2015. And that's probably one of the biggest things that's changed since we first got into this industry back in 2003. Back then, if someone was a victim of identity theft, it was maybe because they forgot to shred something and someone went through their trash can and pulled out a statement or a bill so that they had that person's sensitive information and they used that information to steal their identity. And I guess at that local element of identity theft, it'll always exist at some level. But today, so many people are becoming victims of identity theft, and they didn't do anything wrong. It's really no fault of their own, and of course that has to do with these data breaches that we're seeing. And I know I don't have to explain this to you. I'm sure all of us have seen this over and over in the news, all of these companies that are being breached. On the screen here are just a few examples of the thousands of companies that have been breached, big and small companies from all kinds of industries. But the real problem with these data breaches is that people are becoming victims of identity theft. And you can see that there on the screen. 1 in 4 Americans affected by a data breach becomes a victim of identity theft. And of course, that's what's fueling this #1 crime in America. Another thing that has drastically changed since we first started offering identity theft protection is that back then, again, that was 2003, identity theft was almost entirely financial. It was almost always related to credit cards and bank accounts, somebody opening up a new line of credit, something like that. Today, we are regularly seeing several other types of identity theft. And of course, financial identity theft is still a huge problem. But these other types of the crime are growing really at alarming rates. Take, for example, criminal identity theft. That's where someone steals your identity and they may or may not do anything financially, but what they do is commit a crime in your name. I recently met with an HR director of a company, and she told me how she was the victim of criminal identity theft. She was actually arrested for a crime that she didn't commit. Law enforcement came to her home, arrested her. She ended up spending 2 nights in jail before they could finally prove that she was not the person that they were looking for. And I mean, what a disaster. But that's the problem with any of these types of identity theft. It's the only crime in America where you're guilty until proven innocent. And the other major issue for victims is that when you get into these other types of identity theft, it becomes even more of a nightmare to try to clean up the mess. I mean, think of those people who are victims of employment identity theft, where someone's using their social to get a job, and now the victim is dealing with the IRS because their tax records are all messed up. Or someone who's a victim of medical identity theft, where someone gets medical treatment in their name, and now their medical records are all different. These other types of identity theft, they just take a lot longer on average to clean up, and the negative impact on a victim is so much greater as well. I mean, look, my credit score is important, right? Don't get me wrong. But if tonight at midnight, the SWAT team breaks in my house, and it's because I'm a victim of criminal identity theft, I've got a warrant issued for my arrest, and I sit up in bed, I look down up, and there are lots of these little red dots on my chest, I'm not going to look at my wife and say, honey, I hope my credit score is okay. I mean, obviously, these other types of identity theft, these are major, major problems. And people deserve a solution that's going to help with all types of this crime. And we are very proud of the solution that we provide. Our product is called ID Shield, and it is, simply put, the most comprehensive identity theft plan in the market today. And you can see some of the key components of what ID Shield provides for a family. I like that ID Shield provides peace of mind before, during, and after someone is a victim. And we do that by providing features like unlimited consultation and guidance. So a member can call and speak to a licensed investigator, not just an expert or a specialist, but an actual licensed investigator anytime that they have a question. It could be about potential fraud or even just their credit. They might be wanting to see how they could raise their credit score, for example. In addition to that consultation, we also provide real-time monitoring of what matters most. And you can see that's certainly going to include credit monitoring, and we put score updates with that as well. Again, your credit and your credit score are important, so that should be monitored. But credit monitoring in and of itself is never a total solution. That's what a lot of these companies who have been breached, they've had these data breaches, they'll turn around and offer free credit monitoring for several years. But the problem is that only monitors your credit. Think of all those other types of identity theft. And one thing that really sets ID Shield apart from other services in this industry is their privacy and security monitoring, which provides really over 20 layers of monitoring from things like court records. So if someone does commit a crime in your name and you've got a warrant issued for your arrest, you can find that out proactively. ID Shield will monitor as much of your sensitive information as you'd like to see if maybe that's being bought, sold, or traded on the dark web. I mean, it's absolutely the most robust monitoring that I've ever seen. And with all of this monitoring, if they detect anything suspicious, then you'll be notified immediately via the ID Shield mobile app. Of course, the crowning feature of ID Shield is what we're most proud of, and that's the full-service identity restoration. And what that means is if a member becomes a victim of identity theft, then again, they'll have a licensed investigator assigned to their case, and that investigator will actually restore that member's identity. They'll clean up the mess on the member's behalf. And I want to be clear here. These are licensed investigators, and they don't just coach that member on the phone on what they need to do to clean up the mess. They actually do the work for them. So they make all the phone calls, they do all the legwork, they do the paperwork, they perform that restoration so that the member has the peace of mind of knowing that they don't ever have to worry about this number one crime in America, identity theft. They've got the best of the best backing them up. Now, when it comes to coverage for this product, we have a couple of different options. We have the family plan that would cover the member, their spouse, or significant other, and then up to 10 minor dependents up to the age of 18. And when we take this into a business and we offer it as a voluntary benefit for those employer groups, we'll actually extend that restoration coverage for their kids up to the age of 25, which I think is a pretty great feature. And then we also have the individual option that would cover just that member himself or herself. So again, we're really proud to be able to say that we offer the most comprehensive identity theft protection plan available in the market today. And look, as you can imagine, we've seen a lot of growth over the last few years as identity theft has just become a nightmare for American families. We've been able to really offer a total solution. And that's one of the reasons that the value of our company has doubled over the last 5 years. People are seeing the need for this solution right now more than ever before. Of course, we think that there's a perfect marriage between our identity theft plan, ID Shield, and our flagship product, Legal Shield, especially when we offer these products, again, as voluntary benefits for employees of our client companies. Now, some people might hear the term legal plan and wonder, how could they benefit from something like that? And you can see here, these are just some of the common misconceptions that people have about the legal system. They might think, I can figure out the legal system by myself. I mean, I've got Google, right? Everything on the internet is true. So I always say good luck with that. But some people might think that the only people who use attorneys are those who get in trouble. Or maybe they think, I'm an honest person. Why would I ever need legal help? Well, the reality is all of us deal with situations where having the counsel or assistance of an attorney could really be very helpful. I mean, think about someone who gets overcharged for a repair. Or maybe they have a dispute with a warranty company or even a utility or a cell phone company. Or maybe they have a problem with their homeowners association. Or maybe somebody is looking at doing some estate planning, like getting a will done for their family. Maybe they just have a question about what their rights are in a given situation. And look, I don't think most people would look at those types of situations as legal emergencies. But the reality is, if you had an attorney when you were dealing with something like that, you'd be a lot better off. And again, we all deal with these types of things. So the question is, why don't people use attorneys more? Why do they try to figure out the legal system by themselves, which again is just never a good idea? But the reason is very simple, and it's just that using an attorney is expensive. The average cost of an attorney in the United States is $284 per hour. And frankly, most people are just not able to afford that, at least not on a regular basis, for everyday situations. So what Legal Shield does is very simple. We make access to the legal system affordable. For less than $1 a day, we give North American families access to some of the very best law firms in their area. And look, make no mistake about it here, we are disrupting an industry. Just like Netflix changed the way that people watch movies, just like Uber and Lyft changed the transportation industry, we are changing the way that legal services are delivered. And we're making attorneys affordable, we're making them accountable, we're making them responsive. And that is exactly why we have experienced such record growth. Let me just show you a few of the things that a Legal Shield membership provides. By far, the most commonly used feature of our legal plan is this personal legal advice. And what that means is any time that a member has any kind of legal question, and again, it doesn't matter what it's about. It could be about their taxes, it could be about a real estate transaction, maybe they're buying a home or selling a home, or maybe they're renting somewhere and they've got a landlord issue. Maybe they're the landlord, they have a tenant issue. But whatever it is, if they have a question about estate planning or a contractor dispute, it doesn't really matter what the legal question is. If they have a question, then our members can just pick up the phone and speak to a qualified attorney. An attorney who specializes in that area of law where they have a question. And it's never a paralegal, it's never a legal secretary, it's always an attorney that they speak to. And here's the cool part, it's unlimited. I mean, they can literally call as many times as they want, they can talk for as long as they want. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's a 4 to 5 minute conversation or a 45-minute conversation, it's covered 100% under their legal plan. The joke we always tell is even if someone is just legally lonely, I mean, that's fine. They can use it for that. They can just call and talk to an attorney. But the reality is our members have that access, and it's an incredible part of our plan. Now, in addition to getting advice, the law firm can also write letters on our members' behalf as well. And look, this is really great. If a member's in a situation where they're not being treated fairly, I mentioned a few of those earlier, like a warranty issue or a repair that didn't go right, or any situation where they just need a little extra legal muscle. And that's exactly what a letter from their law firm can provide. Listen, I've used that several times myself, and let me just tell you, it's amazing the difference that a letter from an attorney can make in getting you results. People just treat you differently when they know that you have an attorney. Our law firms can also help our members if they're going to sign a contract. They'll review those contracts and documents up to 15 pages at no charge, really just to make sure that it's in the member's best interest before they sign and commit to something. We also provide assistance for IRS audits and even trial defense. If one of our members or the member's spouse or significant other is named in a lawsuit, then they've got protection under their Legal Shield membership for that as well. A part of the plan that a lot of people like is if they receive a moving traffic violation, like a speeding ticket, for example, then their law firm will provide them a defense. And it's actually pretty cool. We've got this app, and all the member does is just take a picture of the ticket with the app and then hit submit. Then that goes directly to their provider law firm, and they'll have an attorney in that jurisdiction go defend them. And these attorneys are really good at getting these tickets reduced so they don't go on the member's record, which is really nice because it doesn't affect their auto insurance if they can keep it off their record. And listen, that's one thing that I think everyone can agree on. We already pay too much for our auto insurance, so Legal Shield can really save a family some serious money with just this one feature. Think about people that have teenage drivers or even a spouse who drives like a teenager. It's just a great part of the plan. And one great thing about Legal Shield is we have over 4,000 attorneys across the United States and Canada that protect our members. So really, you're covered everywhere you go. It's just so powerful and reassuring to know that we have that kind of protection. Of course, one of the most important features of this legal plan is the last will and testament that our members receive. Listen, having an updated will is one of the most important things that someone can do for their family, and yet right now, over 70% of Americans do not have an updated last will and testament. Well, as a Legal Shield member, they can get a full comprehensive will, and that includes the last will and testament, but also the living will, the healthcare power of attorney. I mean, it's the exact same will that you would typically have to spend $1,200 to $1,500 to have an attorney write. And Legal Shield members can get that done by one of the best estate attorneys in their state at absolutely no additional cost. And the cool part is there's not even a waiting period, so they can do that as soon as they sign up, which really provides instant value for so many people. And completing that will is as easy as filling out a questionnaire on the app. Now, in addition to all those features, our members also have 24-hour emergency access. So if they're in a car accident, or maybe they're a victim of identity theft and they're being arrested for a crime in the middle of the night that they didn't commit, in an emergency like that, they're going to have 24-hour access to their provider law firm. Which I'm going to tell you, there's some wealthy people that can afford $284 an hour, but they don't have 24-hour access to their attorneys. That's a pretty cool deal for Legal Shield members. And then, of course, they also receive a 25% discount on anything that's not covered 100% under their plan. So things like bankruptcy or a contested divorce or a DUI would be covered at that discounted rate. Now, this Legal Shield membership would cover the member's spouse or significant other, and any children up to the age of 26, as long as they're living at home and have never been married, or if they're a full-time college student, no matter where they live. And of course, physically and mentally disabled children living at home are covered up to any age. Now, the pricing of these plans, especially in a group, really makes these, in my opinion, exceptional offerings. Really, the non-group pricing, that's what you see here on the left, that non-group pricing is incredible. I mean, the value of having access to one of the best law firms in your state, The value of having premium identity theft coverage for an entire family, to be able to have all of that for around $25 a month each, that's an incredible deal. But when we take these plans into a company and we offer them as a voluntary employee benefit, then you can see the pricing on the right would apply. And all of a sudden, somebody's able to get our Legal Shield membership for only $20.95. And then you have the Family ID Shield, typically $25.95 outside of a group, and yet a member of a group can get that for only $20.95 as well. And the biggest discount is when you bundle those two together. For a family, that coverage is typically $50.90 a month outside of a group, but in a group, it's only $38.90 a month, and that comes out to just under $9 a week. So if that employee is paid weekly, that's all that would come out of their check. And again, it's just an exceptional value. I mean, it's so affordable. And look, I'm not trying to sell you a membership here. I do want you to see what kind of value these plans provide, especially in the employee benefit space. And this is exactly why we're seeing such incredible sign-up percentages. And that's really what I want to get into now, is why do these plans make such great employee benefits? Why would you and I want to offer them to employees of a company? And of course, that high participation, that's a big deal. I mean, right now we're seeing 50 to 70% of the employees that we get in front of electing to enroll in the plan. And that's without employer contribution. So the employees are absorbing 100% of that cost. But again, if they're paid weekly, it's only $8.98 a week out of their check. So it's not a huge financial decision for people to make. Not only are we seeing high participation, but the utilization of these plans is high as well. We want our members using their membership. Another great feature of ID Shield and Legal Shield is that these benefits are portable. So if an employee signs up at the group rate and then leaves that company, they can take it with them and they can keep it at that group rate. And you can also see that these plans are simple to administer. I mean, that's one of the things that we hear from our HR and payroll professionals time and time again. They say this is the easiest benefit that we've ever administered. There are no claim forms, no contracts on the plan. I mean, really, it's a pretty simple enrollment process. We also have flexible enrollment options. So if a company does electronic enrollment, for example, with their benefits, we can do that. We do it all the time. If a company prefers paper enrollment or even web enrollment, that's fine as well. I mean, we're really flexible. And of course, that's important in today's environment with so many employees working from home because of COVID-19. The ability to do enrollment meetings via Zoom and enroll virtually is just crucial. And we're certainly able to accommodate our clients in all kinds of situations and across a wide range of industries as well. And that's one thing that's great about these products is whether you're talking to an executive of a company or a blue-collar employee, they're going to see something in these plans that's attractive to them. And again, that's one reason why we have such high participation in our group clients. And one great thing about offering these plans as voluntary benefits is that they can help the company in addition to helping the employees. So voluntary benefits in general can help attract and retain quality employees, and certainly Legal Shield and ID Shield, those products do that. But when you think about employees who deal with legal issues, or certainly identity theft issues, those can really affect their productivity at work. I mean, all of a sudden they start taking more time off, or they're distracted and off task while they're at work. Not to mention the stress can just make them more irritable, and then that affects their coworkers as well. So we say it doesn't take long for a personal problem to become a personnel problem. And that is certainly the case with legal and identity theft issues. Well, our plans can obviously help relieve a large part of that stress. And so it actually helps the employees be more productive at work. And of course, higher productivity has a positive impact on the bottom line of the company. So we actually help employees while helping the employer, all at no direct cost to the company. I mean, do you see why businesses like Legal Shield? I mean, really, from a business owner's standpoint, these plans just make all the sense in the world. Now, let's talk about what this would look like for you and I to offer these plans. And as far as compensation is concerned, there are really 4 different ways to earn money marketing Legal Shield and ID Shield. The first is just the commissions that we receive, and I'll show you that commission plan in a bit. One of my favorite aspects of this compensation plan is the residual income. So when we sell a membership, as long as that member stays active, we continue to earn a residual every year for the life of the membership. Now, when I first got started, I was pretty young, so residual sounded good, but it wasn't something that I really focused on. I was more thinking about the money that I was going to earn up front when I sold a membership. But I'm going to tell you, the older that I get, and frankly, the more residual income that I receive, the more I'm telling you, it is incredible to get residual income. I can see why some people who have earned residual income in the past, they say they'll never do anything that does not pay residuals. And one cool thing about Legal Shield is our associates are 100% vested from day one to receive those residuals. Now you can see here we also have the opportunity to earn overrides if we build a team and they're producing. You and I can get an override from that production. And then, of course, Legal Shield has an incredible bonus and incentive program as well. In fact, we've got associates who are earning tens of thousands of dollars in bonus income every year, and that's in addition to their regular commissions. So let me just give you an example of what that might look like if you're at the director commission level, which again, that's where we're starting these sales professionals. If you go into a company that has 60 employees and you present to those employees, and let's say of those 60, 30 choose to enroll in the Legal Shield and the ID Shield benefits, well, here's what that would look like for you at the director commission level. Again, your commission is $148.12, and that's per plan. So for 30 plans, the total commission would be $4,443.60. Now that's not bad if someone was just part-time and they did that once a month, but for those who are full-time, think about doing that 3 or 4 or 5 times a month. And this example is just for a smaller company. That's only 30 people signing up. Again, you're paid for every employee that signs up. So it's not per presentation or per group, it's per employee. And really what we're looking for are individuals who will go out, meet with businesses, present to their employees, and write between 50 and 100 plans a month. And at this director commission level, that could produce a really solid 6-figure income. Now, that's not a quota. We don't have any sales quotas, but it's also not a cap. I mean, if you look at our top producers are writing way over 100 plans a month. And that's one thing that is really attractive to so many of our producers is that there is no cap on what we earn. A lot of our producers have come out of a corporate background where they were always limited on how much they could make. And that's one thing that they love about Legal Shield is that there's just no limit on production. You can write as much business as you want. And it's interesting, with so many companies, they look at commissions as an expense. But with Legal Shield, the way they see it is if our associates are making more money, then the company's making more money. So of course they want to pay out as much as they can. So again, no limits on production. Here are just a few more advantages of being a Legal Shield associate. Commissions are paid every day, 7 days a week. So that leads to a very quick turnaround of commissions. If you write a group this morning, then you can submit that business online. And in some cases, that business will pay out commissions the same day. Sometimes it's the next day, but it's usually 24 to 48 hours from the time that those members are active, which is really just a quick turnaround on those commissions. Another thing that's very attractive to so many of our associates is that we've got a world-class B2B training program, and that includes online training. We've got live classes that are happening around North America on a regular basis. We do regular live web training and conference call training as well. And we have an exceptional field training program, so you can partner up with someone in your area that has experience in offering these plans and leverage their experience and their expertise to be able to help you write your first few groups. And finally, another great part about being a Legal Shield associate is that there are no sales territories. So if you live on the East Coast and you know somebody that owns a company on the West Coast, you can absolutely go write that company. And of course, I mentioned earlier, no sales quotas as well. So again, I just want to thank you for taking some time today to view this webinar. I hope that the information has been helpful. I hope that we can see you on board soon with us here at Legal Shield. We're certainly looking forward to some incredible results coming out of this program. From all of us here at Legal Shield Business Solutions, we wish you the very best.